Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows. Tonight is October 6th, I think. It's a Sunday. I'm 39 weeks and 1 day pregnant, and I'm still here, still pregnant. So today, I'm feeling like I was yesterday. My back's hurting a little bit, and I'm having some regular contractions, but that's normal for me. So that's about all I got to say about that. And what we did today was Sunday, so we went to church. We have Sunday school and a morning service, and then we come home. We put on a documentary for the kids and try to get anyone who needs a nap to get one, and then we go back for evening service. That's how our church runs. So we did all of that today. So it is now almost 9 o'clock at night. I'm tired, and I figured I would do a short video. So tonight's topic is just about thinking through your labor process and who you would want in the room. So one of the big things to figure out is if you're somebody who wants people around or wants people to be away from you when you're in kind of the labor zone. Labor land, I think, is what my midwife calls it. And that might be hard to decide until you're actually in labor. So make sure that any support people that you have know that this may change and that you will communicate to them whether you want them there or not. But for my first, I had my husband in the room. And then last minute, I had a friend from high school and her college roommate, who I had met, I think, once before that, come up. It was an odd situation because they had told me that my water had broken, but I wasn't really having contractions, so they were going to give me a sleeping pill and then put me on Pitocin the next morning. Well, when they checked me later, I had dilated a half a centimeter or something, so they wouldn't give me the sleeping pill. And this friend, in the meantime, had called and said, "Hey, I see you're at the hospital." My husband had Facebooked it or something. "I see you're at the hospital. Could we come down to just help you pass the time since you're stuck at the hospital?" I said, "Yeah, that's sure. That's fine." Well, by the time they got down there, I was having contractions, and I ended up laboring. My contractions started around 8. My first daughter was born around 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was a very short, intense labor. I wasn't planning on having other people there, but this friend had come down and her roommate was going for pre-med and was very happy to help rub my back, which I was having terrible back labor. So it worked out well for everybody. And so they were actually there. I think they were still in the room when Virginia was born. Maybe they left right before. I don't know. They gave me a medication because I felt like I couldn't handle the contractions that's called Stadol, which I guess they don't use anymore. I was hallucinating and told them I would name them after some two-headed dog, or if the baby had 2 heads, I'd name them after the dog. I don't even remember. So anyway, I didn't plan for other people to be in the room, but it was a benefit to me, and I found out that I don't mind people being in the room when I'm at the stage further along in labor. So how my body works, I take a long time to get to active labor, and then once active labor starts, I've gone really fast in the past, and I know that can change, so I'm trying not to put too much on that for this pregnancy, or this labor, but that's how it's happened every other time so far. So I have had my mom there for not number 1, but number 2, 3, and 4. No, number 2. Number 3, she was not there because that was our son Joshua, who was in California. She came out right after he was born. Came out to California to be with us, but he was born early and we didn't plan for her to be there. So she was not there with number 3. She was there with number 4 and 5. Number 6, she was not there because in the past labors, my dad had watched the kids. Once I got close to delivering, Mom would come over to the hospital, but my dad passed away right before or a couple months before our 5th child was born. So she has not been with me for the 5th and the 6th. 6th and 7th. 6th and 7th. And so for the 8th one, Long story short. With our last one, our seventh baby, Virginia was in the delivery room with us. She was 14 at the time. And she had not been to a birth. We had prepped her before of what the birth was going to be like. And she did very well. She ended up being kind of stuck in a corner because I forgot to give her details of where she could stand and all of that. So she was very obedient and just stood in the corner where we had put her. But she got to be there. She got to cut the cord. She got to see the baby right away. This time we are planning on our 16-year-old daughter and our 12-year-old daughter both being there, if things work out time-wise that my mom can watch the kids. All of this goes to the back burner if mom can't watch the kids. The 12 and 16-year-old will be watching kids. But I do not mind other people being there in labor, and I've already told the girls that if I send them out of the room, they need to immediately leave. They need to listen to directions. Just try to work all of this out with your labor partners before you start labor. And like I said, if it's your first, you may not know what you want, and every labor can be different. So I might choose something totally different. I've had some labors where I really need someone to rub my back. My back is really, really hurting. I have one labor, I forget which one it was, but every contraction, my hands would get all cramped up. And I had Mark on one side and my mom on one side, rubbing my hands during the contractions. I didn't want anything else to happen except for massaging my hands because they were cramping so bad. So make sure that you are verbal, communicative with your support people. Make sure they are ready to step back if you need some space. And it is okay to send people out of the room. One of my deliveries, they had asked if some student nurses could come in, and I said that was fine. But it ended up that I wasn't really into active labor yet, and I couldn't handle extra people being in the room. It was making me feel like too many people were watching me, and I didn't have a safe space. So I ended up sending them out of the room. And then 2 hours later or whatever it was, I invited them back in to actually watch the delivery. I didn't mind people in at that point. It was just I needed to get into a safe space where I could totally really get into labor all the way. So this is more just encouragement and a challenge to think through what you would want in somebody helping you through this process, making sure they know how you want things set up, and making sure that they're willing to step up or step back depending on what you are feeling at that time during labor. I don't know what age would be a good age for children to be there. I know some people who have the whole family there when they give birth. That for me is not comfortable. And so the girls that we currently, the girls that we have are 16, 12, and 4. And my 4-year-old would not be able to handle it. Maybe someone else's 4-year-old could, but my 4-year-old would be crying, trying to climb on my lap if we did that. My 16-year-old is very mature and will just listen and do whatever we ask her to at the time. So she's going to do some pictures and just be able to be where she wants to be in the room to see what she wants to see. And my 12-year-old needs something to be focused on. So she's going to stand with mommy and she's going to take pictures of baby getting set on my chest, those first pictures of me with baby. So every kid is different. You need to see what their needs are if you're going to have them there, or other people. With my mom, she during labor was rubbing my head, which she thought was very helpful. And at the time, it made me forget about the contractions because it really bugged me. But when the contraction would stop, she'd stop doing it and I wouldn't say anything. And I didn't actually tell her till the next labor. I was like, don't touch my head. I should have vocalized that in that labor. But just be willing to say, here's what I need, here's what I don't need. And the reason my mom has not been there the last couple is because she's been helping watch the kids, not because she did anything wrong in those other labors. It's a really super awesome experience to give birth, and I really enjoyed my mom being able to be there with me. So everybody's different. Everyone's got to see their own family dynamic and what will and will not work for them. But just a challenge to think about who you would have there and who you would, what parameters you would want put around that. The nurses are great. They will make sure that if you do not want someone in the room, that that person is not there. So I guess that's all I have for tonight. Sorry, tonight is a little chaotic in my thoughts. I'm just tired and ready to go to bed. But hopefully soon there will be a baby to show on these videos. I know it will happen. Every day I'm a little closer. So we will see you guys tomorrow.